Hey y'all, this is Corey with Everyday Man, doing everyday reviews for everyday people. And today, I'm going to give you a walk around and a first impression review of a 2021 Can-Am HD10 Max XMR. And yes, that was a mouthful. So guys, let's do a little walkthrough. I know you can go get all the specs on this machine at a number of YouTube places, but the things that I really want to tell you about are reservations that I had about it and what I actually think of this thing, because there's not a lot of reviews out there telling you that. They'll tell you it's got a 4,500-pound high-mounted winch. They'll tell you it's got arched A-arms front and rear with 15 inches of ground clearance. They'll tell you it's got 30-inch crimped tires. It's also got Can-Am Smart Lock front differential and a locking differential. But let's talk about what this machine actually is. This thing is huge. That was one of my reservations about buying it. My brother and I share a few hundred acres up here in Mississippi that we hunt on. And I kind of feel like this was a little bit of overkill for what we do. But I will tell you, as you guys know that have watched my channel before, I've got a two-seater Kawasaki Teryx. And what happens is I end up with people in the bed of this thing all the time trying to ride around. So I wanted to provide something that I can bring my family and my friends out hunting or out creek riding and do it in style. And I think we've accomplished it. So the first thing I want to tell you about this machine is when you get in it, it's really well built. Can-Am has done a really excellent job with the refinement on it. The steering, the power steering on it is excellent. There's not a lot of doesn't take a lot of force to turn the wheel, which it's not a sporty machine, right? So you want something that's going to be easy to turn, and it absolutely is. It's got great power steering. The transmission, the belt system that Can-Am has for this thing is absolutely amazing. A lot of belt-driven bikes don't like to go slow. So if you're trying to go down a tight technical trail, you'll find yourself jerking around a lot. My buddy's got a Polaris General that's really bad for it. It's hard to drive it slow. And we use that up here quite a bit. And this machine is totally different. Now, it is a 1,000cc machine. It's got 82 horsepower. It's got plenty of power, plenty of grunt. It's got almost 70 foot-pounds of torque. It's got a lot of power. Now, it's not super fast, I'm going to tell you that, but it runs well. It's really got a lot of power where you need it, down low. And along with that, with it being able to run slow and high or low, it's not jerky at all. It's very smooth and it runs really nice. I think it'll really make a good machine up here in these tight woods. Now, it is long, and I do have some tighter trails, and the machine's 64 inches wide. With the wider tires and the fender flares, it is a really wide machine. So I may have to widen a couple of trails up here in the future, but I think that's a little sacrifice I'm willing to make for the comfort of this machine. Now, when I say this thing's really well built, I've had a Teryx now for 6 years, and I've always liked the machine. It's a rock solid bulletproof machine, has given me very few troubles in the last few years. But there's some things about it I don't like, which I've talked about. The Terex is extremely loud. And let me tell you, this Can-Am, when you start it, I guess it's because I'm about 47 feet away from that motor, but this thing is quiet. It's super, super quiet. I think it's going to be excellent for hunting. The build quality between the Can-Am and the Terex, I think the Terex is plenty good for what it is, but when you sit behind the wheel of this Can-Am, you feel like you're in something automotive. It really feels that good. The seats are really nice. And I'm gonna tell you, my Terex has got better, more comfortable, relaxed seats as far as the position. But these XMR seats are excellent. They really are. It's a really nice bike. It's got really great storage features to it. And I'm really happy with it. So I do have some plans for it. I got a roof ordered for it. I've got a front and rear windshield ordered for it. I've got light bars for the front and for the rear. And I'm gonna kind of do a video series, guys. Everything I do to this bike, I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna show you the proper way to do it and tell you the things that work on it and the things that don't. So all you guys out there that's thinking about getting one of these XMRs, will be able to follow along and decide what you want for yourself. Let's go take this thing for a ride. Easy peasy.
Huh?
We just jumped about four deer right there. Yeah. Well, big girl made it down my little trail with no problem. Seems pretty good to me. All right, y'all, so let me give you my first impressions of driving this thing off-road. I drove it around my house a little bit. People have often talked in all of these videos about the simple suspension on these things. There's no Fox shocks, there's nothing fancy. Man, this thing rides great. I just came down that trail and I came down at a pretty quick clip, and man, I'm really impressed. That little trail we did just a few minutes ago is really my tightest trail I have on here, back in the woods, and it did it with no problem. Turning around is a little bit of an issue because it's kind of hard to see out the back with the snorkels and just the fact that the thing's the length of a school bus. But man, I am absolutely impressed right now with this thing, and I think all of my worries about it being too big are slowly disappearing. So we're gonna feed some food plots, and we'll take it down to my creek and see if she likes the sand. All right. Well, y'all, the first day out of the property, and the Can-Am's gonna have to pull out his first victim. The Terex is stuck. Let's put this Can-Am brand new winch to work.
I went after it in two-wheel drive, not thinking about it.
Oh, you was in two-wheel drive?
Yeah, and it just stopped. I said, oh crap. I put it in four, and then move on, put it in four lock, and the tire just started spinning.
Well, can you cross and grab the winch?
Yeah, it's kind of deep.
This one still works good. It goes in and out.
Yeah. That poor Warren has been through some time.
Yeah, I don't even turn that thing on that horn. Oh yeah, then you can just stay right here. Here, you can grab some footage from outside. I'll just pull it off that hill. It's filming right now.
All right. Yeah, you're going out. First time using the Can-Am winch. Let's see.
First time using the Can-Am winch. Alrighty, I think that'll get you all out. I'll tell you, Dylan, I didn't even have the differential locked on this thing when I went through there.
I went real slow in two-wheel drive. I wasn't thinking.
Yeah. So he said, y'all probably didn't hear him. He said he went real slow in two-wheel drive, wasn't thinking, it got high centered. Not the Can-Am.
All right, Dad, so I'm behind the wheel now. Go ahead and explain to me what all these different things mean. Right now we're in two-wheel drive. You can see the back two wheels are lit.
We're in two-wheel drive right now with the differential, the rear differential open. If we push this closed, you will see the lock show up between the two back tires. So now the differential is locked.
So when it's not locked, that's what Can-Am considers their turf mode, right?
When it's unlocked, they consider it turf mode so it doesn't tear up your yard. But I got a feeling with these 30-inch cryptids on it, it's not going to be much of a turf mode.
Understandable. All right. So now we're in two-wheel drive with a differential lock, just like a normal four-wheeler.
Just like a normal
four-wheeler. We
four-wheeler.
want to go on a four-wheel drive.
If we want to go to four-wheel drive, we turn this switch up one time.
All right. So now it's like four-wheel drive in your pickup truck, right?
That's correct. You'll see the front tires are now darkened and it says auto. So that is what Can-Am calls it, smart lock. Now this button right here indicates or dictates how quickly the front end locks up. So in trail mode, it'll let that front tire spin a little more before it locks up. And when you switch it over to mud mode, the front differential will be a lot quicker to lock up due to tire slippage.
Okay. So now, if we have it back in trail and I want to lock the front differential and have all four wheels move at the same speed, then what do I do?
So just like this, if you want to lock the front end, you hit it up again, you'll notice this lights up, front differential lock lights up, and you'll see now we have a lock on both ends. So it is in true four-wheel drive.
All right, cool. And then when this drive mode button right here, when you click it, it goes into work mode. Can you explain what work mode does for me?
Work mode is supposed to even out your throttle input. So if you're working in a field or if you're doing some rock crawling or something and your foot's bouncing on the gas pedal, it's supposed to smooth all of that out and make for a smoother ride.
Okay.
Now if you click it again, it'll go to eco mode.
Which is a mode that we'll probably never use.
A mode I'll probably never use unless maybe you have kids one day and I'm letting them drive it. Eco mode kind of boosts, brings everything down on the engine. It brings the horsepower and the torque down, the numbers down a little bit, the throttle response down, and it's just to save on fuel.
So
and
now what we're gonna do is turn that off.
We're gonna turn that off. So eco off is just normal mode. It gives us full horsepower, full torque, full speed, which this thing I know for sure does over 60. But we're gonna do a top run video on it before long, top speed video on it before long. But this thing moves along pretty good, and I think it's really got an excellent array of four-wheel drive and differential locks on it.
And that's a good comparison. We'll probably put it against that white thing right there, huh?
That I'm sure we will. Now, what I've noticed already, I think the way I'm gonna enjoy driving it the most up here on these muddy trails is just in four-wheel drive with the rear differential open. That way I got one back tire turning, and if I need two in the front, it'll automatically lock up, and I think that's gonna be the way to go. I think that'll save my trail some hardship with trying to turn these big tires tight. So I think that's what it's gonna be.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for the explanation.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the creek.
Let's do it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it rides really nicely.
So I'm just coming over from the Terex. I just drove it about 2 minutes ago, and this already is very impressive and surprising. It's a lot smoother than it looks like it would be, that's for sure.
And it's really quiet.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I guess the motor is so far away from you as compared to the Terex where it's right between you.
Right.
Oh yeah, this is comfortable. Feels like a beast.
Yeah. I said it in my truck video, but I think it holds true with the Can-Am too. It feels like a piece of equipment. It feels real substantial.
The difference in presence that you feel when you're driving is the same difference between a 1500 and a 2500.
Yeah, right? It feels like a big heavy duty machine.
Yeah. It gives you a lot of confidence, and you're right, the steering is very easy and smooth. You're just chilling, you're just comfortable.
Now the steering rack is very slow, so you have to turn the steering wheel quite a bit, but that's just part of it being a work machine, right? And not a trail machine.
With that being said, I don't think it's gonna mind any trail we put it down.
No, not at all. Not gonna be a problem.
Until it's time to turn around, that is.
Right. Gotta do an 8-point turn.
Or just run stuff over. That's probably what we'll do. Yeah, this is very impressive coming down this really rough spot right
I know, it feels good, huh?
Yeah.
It rides really good. I think we're gonna be impressed. All right, so we're fixing to head down in my creek. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock the rear differential because I gotta imagine we're gonna need that. I'm gonna put the driving mode in the mud. because I want to have full traction as soon as I need it. Oh, this is gonna be sloppy coming back up.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually making back up right now. It's sloppy.
I don't know if this one will.
It's kind of hot.
Yeah, they must have had a good amount of rain.
That was soft. That was fun.
That was what?
I said that was soft.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, this creek is soft. I got a feeling we're gonna be winching ourselves out of here.
We'll find out.
We will find out. I'll tell you, during the wintertime, the creek stays pretty soft. You don't do a lot of creek riding in the wintertime, which it is extremely soft right now. But man, I think the combination of everything, the tires and the power and the smart lock in the front, man, it's pretty confidence inspiring. Now, climbing up out of this hill, the last few times we've done it with the Terex and the Polaris General to get out of the creek, we've both had quite a bit of issues. In fact, last time I had to winch my Terex up the hill. So I'm very curious to see if I'm gonna make it up this hill when we leave here in a second and see what it does. I'm hoping it climbs on out. We'll see. It's real sloppy. All right, so like I said, the last few times I've done this with the Terex, I've had to get pulled out of here. I know the camera makes things look pretty much flat, but this hill is pretty steep. So we're gonna leave Dylan down here in the creek, and I'm gonna see if this thing will climb on out of here. I got it in low. I got the differentials locked, both of them. Now I do. So let's give it a shot. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna unlock the front diff. I'm gonna leave it in auto. I'm gonna leave it in mud mode and see what it does. Okay, so I just learned a valuable lesson. It's definitely got enough ground clearance to get up and out of this creek, but I had it in work mode while we were driving down the trail a little bit to smooth out the throttle inputs. And what would happen just now, you heard it surge. That's because what I was doing was I would try and give it a little more throttle to get some power going up that hill, and it didn't want to accept it right away. It waited a few seconds, then it would surge. So we're gonna take it and put it in normal mode, let Dylan get in, and we'll be able to climb out of this hill, no problem, guys.
The amount of sand that followed you back down that hill when you came down was incredible.
Well, this thing is geared low. No problem. No problem, man.
What I was like embarrassing was easy.
Yeah, right? So, y'all, I think all of my worries about this big machine are going away. It is definitely big, but man, this thing is really a beast. I've been really impressed with it. Getting up and out of that creek as easy as I did, man, it was really amazing. The tightest trails I have here, it really fits, no problem. Turning around is a little bit of a pain because you can't see out the back. Now, I think the final, most important test that we're gonna do is do the cup holders hold a Yeti can koozie? As a matter of fact, they do. So y'all, I bought this at Performance Power Sports in Homer. I bought it from a fella by the name of Chris. Really friendly guys down there. I wanted to give them a shout out. Now these things are expensive. I'm gonna tell you, they're not a cheap, they're not a budget-friendly side-by-side at all. And right now, these XMRs are really hard to find. I had to wait almost 2 months for this one. So the price is gonna be MSRP pretty much. I think they might have come down like $500 for me. But guys, it's a really great machine. I'm really impressed. And you're gonna see a lot more of it coming up soon. So until next time, y'all, I'll see you.